Hello and welcome to this week's episode of A Closer Look. In this first segment, we feature the 29th Enga Cultural Show, which commenced at the Ipus Oval in Wabe Town last weekend, including the Tasting Enga Experience, which began on the 11th to the 13th of August. This saw a cultural performance by schools with the main cultural dance performance on Saturday, the 12th of August. Invited guests, including tourists, were given the opportunity to travel up to the famous salt pond in the province and visit the Surinki honey farm. Reporter Grace Papiali attended the Enga Cultural Show and has more.
Kundu drums beat to the chants of the proud Angan dancers. The Angan culture is diverse and all connected to one common vernacular. 44 sing-sing groups from the 6 districts of the province all came as one to express their culture in the famous cultural show of the province on the 29th Enga Cultural Show. During the show, a courtship ceremony known in the Angan language as Sangai was demonstrated by the Pili Kambi dancers from the Lagaip district. Apart from the Sangai, a play was demonstrated on how butter system took place in the ancestral times with the people of Laigap exchanging salt for oil from the Kutubu people of Southern Highlands Province. Tourists and bird watchers from countries including Japan, UK and India who went for bird watching in the mountains of Enga booked the show to observe and participate with the Angans.
In my country, not so many kinds of costume and dancing and language. In my country, only one kind of people, maybe there are 2 kind of people, and not so many kind of language and not so many kind of traditional cultures. And this country is a miracle, spectacular for me.
Although the Enga province has experienced tribal clashes in some parts of the province, like in Wapenamanda district, where houses have been shattered and many lives lost, Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas commended the cultural groups for showing their courage in participating in the annual cultural show.
Own thing in their own neighborhood or tribal area should not force the government or the majority of our people from not having an event like this. So, despite the negativity, we've now been able to complete the major part of the show. So, which has been a success. Now, many people forget why we have these cultural shows. You know, the most important thing is to preserve our culture. It is not just a show.
On Sunday morning, the 13th of August, the tourists were taken on a road trip to visit a salt pond in the Laigap district. Traveling by road south of Wabeg Central, the scenic view of the mountains took precedence. A welcome dance was displayed by the locals of the salt pond area. Chairlady of the Angan Experience Tour, Margaret Potane, explained how traditional salt is made out from this pond.
It's going to do the burning now. He'll take the wood from the salt pond here and he'll take it across and we'll go and observe while he burn it.
After this, the group was taken up to the Sirunki farm to see the home of Sirunki honey.
Most of our boxes are without queen bees. There was a disease that I think globally strike all the queen bees. So right now we lost all our queen bees. So about 85 boxes are without queen bees. The rest of Papua New Guinea, they get their big queens from Goroka. So we're in the queue waiting for our chance to come, and they'll supply us the 85 queens. And when we get that, we'll fit into the 85 boxes and go in for full production. Right now we are down in supply because we cannot harvest more.
Apart from honey production, local farmers have tapped into producing strawberry jams and spices. Sirunki Women's Cooperative Society President Piam Yakali explained.
And I think we are hoping to get another 5,000 farmers. So what's happening now is they rely mostly on the roadside markets. And if they have a chance to go down to Wabek, they do that. And these local strawberries we are talking about, not the ones that are produced at the farm. And seeing the waste, sometimes when they go in and sell, they're not able to get enough buyers. They bring it back, it's kind of a daily type of fruit. It gets spoiled. So just to add value to it, we have decided we have this Sirunki Women Farmers Cooperative Society. It's a women group based within Sirunki. We got all local women farmers. So what we have decided to do is get into strawberry jam making. And then we have started, just like what Margaret has said, the process is still going on. And we have tried, and I think that's something that we want to do. And then apart from strawberry jam, we are also having parsley, other little things that we can produce. We want to process them, get it into downstream processing, so we add value at the same time, create market for the rural mothers who cannot go to Wabek. And
the Enga Experience Tour ended as dawn fell on the prestigious mountains. Enga Province is one of the ideal tourist destinations in Papua New Guinea, which attracts tourists from all over the world to visit. It is known as the third destination in the world for bird watching. During bird mating season from May till this month, over 670 bird watchers from countries like India and the European countries traveled to Enga to capture the birds. So far, 3 new bird species have been identified. The province is in the process of investing in its evolution bird industry.
We go for a quick break, and when we return, we will highlight the Young Women's Political Bootcamp, which was held in Port Moresby recently. Stay with us. Welcome back. 20 young women from across the country have recently undergone a program called the Young Women Political Bootcamp in Port Moresby. This is a first of its kind and is an initiative of UN Women in partnership with the Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance. The primary agenda of this program was to empower young, vibrant Papua New Guinean women to actively engage in compelling issues affecting their communities, including politics. These are the first lot of 20 participants to attend this program. The Young Women Political Bootcamp falls under the Political Leadership Academy for Women. The academy only focused on reputable women leaders in the various communities across the country. However, this Young Women's Political Bootcamp is the very first initiative by UN Women and PILAG. Program team leader Nelly Hamura talks more on the significance of this program.
We are targeting 18 to 30 years old, women across universities, civil entities, government organizations who are eligible as long as they apply, and we process them through our selection criteria, and they shortlisted, and we had received over an overwhelming application from across the country, 300. Yeah, and from the 300 we have space for only 20 women. So now we have 20 women, and the significance is we want to transfer knowledge, inspire them to go out, build, mobilize, do community mobilization.
The participants were brought to Port Moresby for the week-long program and remained at the Pilag main campus at Waigani for the duration of the program. We caught up with Anna Ga during their initial introductory meet on Monday last week. This is what she intends to do after this program when she returns to her community.
I come from a very hardworking family, so they have taught me what hard work really is and not settling for less. So after I graduate, hopefully if I work hard, I pray to go back to my community in the village and give back to them. They really deserve a better life and a future because we do have the resources available. We just need the right leadership, the right direction. So I really want to go back to the village, and for young girls especially, they don't have to settle for getting married or settle starting a family. I want them to know that there's more in life and that they can achieve more and be successful and find the real version of themselves. So that's what I really want to do.
This young women's political bootcamp primarily focuses on building and nurturing political interest amongst this group of young women. Discussions and activities surrounding these programs aim at enhancing knowledge of political, electoral, and legislative processes. Participants were encouraged to develop networking collaborations to empower them in passionately responding to gender disparity and to embrace leadership virtues in making a change in the political space if given the chance and the opportunity to. During the final day of the week-long program, we spoke to a few of the other participants. This is Noelin Bapun. She is a final year environmental health student at the Divine Word University.
I came here to the boot camp with the intended purpose of learning about politics and the procedures on how politics is run in the country. So from the boot camp, I hope to go back to my community and learn other young girls and men as well about the political processes in the country and how young women and men can get into parliament and how we can make a difference when we actually get into parliament. So being here in the political bootcamp, I've learned a lot the past few days, and I hope that when I go back into my community, I can actually set an example and be a role model, and I could actually show others that.
Also a participant to this young woman political bootcamp is Grace Hane. She comes from a mixed parentage of Central and Manus and is a pharmacist by profession. Grace is passionate about what she does and is thankful to be a member of this program.
I want to bring about change not only in my community but in my profession, because I see there's a lot of problems that are happening right now in terms of health. Like as a pharmacist, you see news on the daily news that there's shortages of drugs and medicines are not being delivered on time, procurement problems, all that. So for me, like what I believe as a pharmacist, you're an antidote to change, right? And so you can be an agent of change. That is what I'm trying to focus on. So when you go to your local communities, what can I do? So in my profession as a pharmacist, what can I do in my little community? If in the aid post there's no essential medicines, how can I go about it to bring medicines to that area? So that's what I believe. So when I came to this boot camp, I'm sort of enhancing my knowledge on certain aspects of things, also character building. So when I go out, I am not the same person that I came into this boot camp, but I go out as a different person with different perspective, of an open mind to change, and basically bringing about change. That's what I came here to do, and that's what I intend to do when I go out.
Almost half of the participants to this program are university students. Jody Pellis is a second-year mechanical engineering student at the University of Technology. Vibrant and passionate Les from East Sepik and East New Britain, and all outspoken Jody shared her ideas on what she intends to achieve after she departs from this week-long young women's political boot camp.
It's weird that I'm here, I'd say, because this is politics and it's like humanities, and I come from a science background. Ever since high school, I've only pursued science, and I've only had little interest in politics. So when I saw the program come out, I wanted to build my knowledge on that, because I think generally everyone should have an understanding of politics, because as citizens of Papua New Guinea, we should be aware of how our leaders are running our country, and we should be aware of the processes involved. So I applied for this program, and I'm privileged to be selected because it's broadened my understanding of what it actually feels like more than what it is actually like.
The Young Women Political Bootcamp was embarked after the Political Leadership Academy for Women's program agreement was signed in 2001, where women leaders in the sub-district level have been attending since then. This was alluded to by PILAC CEO Michael Barobe.
This is about the UN Women program that currently that's running at this Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance. That is in partnership with the UN Women. We signed the agreement in 2021 simply to train women leaders in this country. The UN, they have got on program to make sure that women are being recognized. In other words, meaning the equal partners in the development of the country. So they decided to have set up this academy to train women leaders, and we got women leaders from throughout the country, including ABG. They came in and we trained them up, and some of these women stood for 2020 elections, and they did well after this training, going through this training program here. These are the university students from all our universities in the country. We select them and come to attend this course. You know, political boot camp, by definition, it means that, you know, in a military, what would happen is there's the last training that they go through before they face the war. So, in other words, what we are doing here is we are training these women leaders so that they could become leaders or in any challenges, in any leadership, not only in politics, in the work environment, in the churches, in the community where they live. They stand out as leaders to ensure that they are equal partners in the development of this country. So that's why we are giving a different number of training programs to have those capacity, and they make a standout or good leaders in the community and in the country as well. So it's up to them. If they want to stand for election for the next, maybe in the council or in this LLG or even the national elections, we are training them up so that they become equal partners.
CEO Barobe further outlined the topics covered in the Young Women's Political Bootcamp. The selection of the first 20 participants to this Young Women Political Bootcamp was very tough, as a total of 300 interested applicants applied. However, only 20 were selected. According to the program team leader Nelly Hamura, similar initiatives are planned for the near future. This Young Women's Political Bootcamp was funded by the UN Women at a cost of 1 million kina in partnership with Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance, and aims to provide training for women in the communities and districts, and even young women still in school, on leadership skills and knowledge, amongst other interesting topics. We take a break now, but when we return, we look at how the Madang province is combating sea piracy in its waters. Welcome back to a closer look. Madang province has the highest statistics of mishaps at sea due to lack of safety. Hence, the National Maritime Safety Authority opened its new office and purchased a new boat to work collaboratively with other stakeholders in the province to reduce the alarming statistics.
Madang is one of the 15 maritime provinces in Papua New Guinea that has half of its population using sea as their main means of transport. As such, during their daily movement, they encounter incidents at sea such as natural disaster and sea piracy. As a result, they lose goods and properties worth billions of kina. Many lives are lost and some incidents go unreported. Madang Governor Ramsey Pariwa revealed that the province has the highest statistics of mishap at sea.
I think Madang has been eating the chart for incidents happening in the country, especially at sea. Boat mishaps, capsize, and even piracy, sea piracy. And all this, I think last year, 2022, we were statistics of incidents at sea at around 15 incidents. That's the whole of the year 2022. And by this year, we haven't reached the whole year as yet, but we've already reached 15 incidents already. And Madang is hitting the chart with this sea mishaps and piracy and all these.
Governor Pariwa highlighted that lack of safety at sea has caused the increasing statistics of incidents for small crafts.
Madang has been going through many mishaps at sea. We have experienced many incidents at sea where lives of our people in Madang have been at stake. Much of what happening in Madang, that incidents were contributed to lack of safety being observed.
Due to these alarming statistics, NMSA has opened a new office last week, officiated by the Minister for Transport and Civil Aviation, Walter Schnobel.
Requirements belong all, please, this office, Emblo serving you all get.
This new office will enable NMSA to perform its mandated responsibilities to enforce the country's maritime and merchant shipping laws by regulating ship safety and marine pollution prevention, and to coordinate search and rescue operations around the waters of Madang Province and other maritime provinces throughout the country.
Narisla field office Imakim region lo mamasel geta. Namibla putim now lo Madang Province. As Minister responsible for transport and civil aviation, it gives me great pleasure to welcome and thank you for making time available from your busy schedule to attend and witness this official opening of NMSA Madang office. As Minister, I'm always keen to support any development projects in the maritime space, especially if these are to support our people living in the coastal areas, all outer islands, blowing inside the country, what we call Papua New Guinea.
Since the establishment of Small Craft Act in 2003, for the first time now, Madang Province has sworn in 5 new small craft board members last week to work alongside NMSA and other stakeholders to reduce the alarming statistics of mishap at sea. Transport Secretary Roy Mumu, who was also present to witness the swearing-in of the board members, acknowledged that the long-standing issue in one of the maritime provinces will be addressed.
Governor, now that you take him office now, you installed one of the outstanding boards of safety, law insurance safety law province under the Small Craft Act. Me and my master, last time only someone in the Public Accounts Committee will explain. Governor, thank you through. I think we'll announce him too, because this is a board by Bokwanda Mipla National Maritime Safety Authority.
With the new NMSA office in place, Secretary Mumu urged people of Madang to adhere to warnings provided to avoid mishap at sea during bad weather.
This office by focal point Yupla, Lokisim Toksabe, latest update, safety authority or safety message, call in anytime. I know our officer in charge, Captain, any staff, and walk one long time. We request us all warnings, only talk long strong wind or something. Arim talk like too. Because he got risks associated with it. So you now no got excuse because of him stuff.
Come narim toksabe straight.
Minister Snowbelt also announced the purchase of a new boat that will help NMSA perform search and rescue faster than before.
Mibla now long NMSA. Mibla buying business. Through lo decision lo boat. Wabla new plus search na rescue boat. Belo yu pala lo madang. Name lo risla boat. Mibla call him MV Sewanga. So please look out him. Okay, the citizen lo madang. Look out him. So enough look out him. You back. Lo behind time. All time.
With the purchase of the new search and rescue boat, Minister Snowbelt urged small craft owners to register their dinghies with NMSA and install GPS tracking devices so that NMSA can monitor and rescue them in times of disaster.
One time this small craft boat now is in place. Governor me like encouraging you. Lo try and find him all GPS tracking device. Na put him long all lig boat lo you to bla. He got one black kind device, so he call him lo ilperp. Where operator na bring him to post and he bring him some black kind heavy lo solwara. Where they all rascal or piracy like all the holy passimem, and me na bring him. Now by sell him signal go long satellite. Now me bla by receive him long NMSA. Now me bla na dispatch him now. Police so usato line lo come. Long helping you.
Mr. Snowbelt said safety is everyone's responsibility and each and everyone should take ownership to maintain their dinghies to travel to and from safely. With NMSA's presence now visible in Madang, the alarming statistics of mishap at sea in the Madang province will be reduced, or mishaps can be handled well or completely avoided.
And this is where we end a closer look for this week. Be sure to join us again next week for another interesting episode. Until then, from all of us here, pleasant viewing and good night.